The binomial distribution. This discrete probability distribution is explicitly on the syllabus. The binomial distribution is the probability distribution of the number of successes arising from, and this is really important, a fixed number of Bernoulli trials. So there's always going to be a fixed number of trials, like 10 or 20. It may well be that the number of trials is an unknown in the question, but it is always a fixed number. Remember, Bernoulli trials, so only two outcomes, success and failure. So this is a fixed number of Bernoulli trials which leads to the binomial distribution. The properties of a binomial distribution are, and this is crucially important because it's asked so many times. So we have a fixed number of trials, as I've stressed already, n. A constant probability of success. So these Bernoulli trials, they don't change. We're not going to have a situation of taking marbles out of a bag and not putting them back in. The probabilities are not going to change. And importantly, the trials are independent. So the results of previous trials don't affect us going forward. In practice, the binomial distribution is used in cases where the trials are not independent, but the probability changes only a very small amount from trial to trial. So what I'm talking about here is things like polling before elections. So they're not going to ask the same person twice, so the person isn't put back in the bag, so as to speak. But when we're talking about populations in the millions, and you're only taking a couple of 100 people for a sample, the probability doesn't change that much. So sometimes we would consider those situations to be binomial. But that's in practice, not in exams. The binomial random variable is the number of successes from each set of trials. So if we do 10 trials and we get 8 successes, we'd be looking at probability of x equals 8. If a discrete random variable x follows a binomial distribution with n trials and probability of success p, we write x follows a binomial model with n trials and probability of success p. So note here the parameters of this distribution are the number of trials and the probability of success.